Hi, let's talk about venture capital. Now, in venture capital, we have a dynamic that is closer to what took place in the joint venture than in the licensing situation, but it's much more extreme. The reason is when we think about the synergy aspect, the only thing that you're missing really is money. So we're really on our synergy graphic. If you throw that up for a second, there you can see it. We're down there in that corner that's talking about control, having everything that you need. How do we know we have everything we need? Well, there's two key components. Let's come back. There's two key components. On this graphic, what we have here, wrong color, what we have here is past, present, and future. The first thing we have is management. If this is high and this is low capabilities here, on the management capabilities, what you want to have in order to go after venture is a really strong management team that gets stronger over time as you head for the market and you're going to build. So you may start out with just even down here in the past where you've just got R&D guys, you start to bring in product development guys, and you're going to intersect up here with the marketing guys and so on, and manufacturing and so forth. But the management team is critical, and venture capitalists, when they invest, like to have a team that has what they call skin in the game. That means that they have invested their own money, their own time, and they're not going to get anything back unless the company hits, and they're really dedicated to making it hit. Now, if that's one part of it, the other part of it is the technology. Obviously, the technology for somebody to invest in it has to be more than a concept, because it could be what we call vaporware or non-obtainium, that very special material that you can never quite get your hands on. You don't want something that's, you never know if it'll come to fruition. You at least need a proof of concept, a brass board or something. And as important as the actual technology itself is, very important is how it's protected. So you want to have very strong, in terms of the IP, intellectual property, you want to have very strong intellectual property. And if this is your baseline intellectual property and it's growing over time, here we are going along with our baseline growing over time on the core technology that we're working on, we want to see this really expanding much more rapidly. How does that happen? Well, if this is a technology that provides a platform, let's say it's a technology for making ink for magic markers, a new kind of ink, then over time what you're going to see is you begin to enhance that technology, and you make different colors, you make ink that will survive at different temperatures, things like that. It becomes a platform technology. Not only works in magic markers, works in pens, works in laser jets for laying up, putting down the ink for making circuits, all sorts of things. And over time what happens is, in addition to doing that, you start to get a second expansion, and you start to do process technology as well as product technology. So you have an ever-widening amount of IP technology. The example may not be the best example, but you get the idea. You want to be constantly developing extensions for the technology, new ways of using the technology in new applications, new markets, as well as new ways of enabling it, that is, of making it faster, better, cheaper. Now, so now we have the management and the IP, and all you need to do is throw the money in, but you need something else. You need a market. And obviously, without a market, this thing is not going to happen. So the dominant design that you're dealing with has to be such that you can get into the market. When they talk about platform technologies, what they're doing is this. They're saying, look, over time, there are some applications I'm shooting for which are over here and going to generate X amount of revenues. But I have a wide range of potential applications I can move this technology into. And so I have this whole area where I can generate revenues. And in this area, that gives me some hedge against risk. If this doesn't work, I can go over here, I can go over here. And even if it does work, you can see how I can build up revenues in the company, unless I can flip the company, sell it downstream to a larger company, or go public with it or something and make my money, my exit money. Because the way you make the money is you're going to have to wait until you can sell the company or sell stock in the company, and thus sell some of your own equity in the company. You're making your money off the equity. What that means is that venture-backed firms are going after venture, works very well where new markets are emerging, so the competition isn't too tough and you can get in. So this is, the dominant design is just emerging, it's an emerging or it's a growth market. Or they work very well at intersections where the market and the dominant, where rather the dominant design is already emerged, and you have a process technology that's a kind of platform process technology, a better way of making syntactic foams that can be applied, or foams in general, across a number of industries. And thus you can go into growth industries or even mature industries by playing sort of this niche strategy and really beginning to dominate that niche. Regardless, what happens in venture capital is the core here is you're trying to say, first of all, I have a management team that provides all the capabilities I need, so you can count on that. Secondly, I've got intellectual property here, strong intellectual property, so I can keep people off my turf. And by keeping them off my turf with your backing, I can exploit this market opportunity, given that the dominant design is pretty clear about where so I know what I'm shooting for, and I can get in there and exploit it. And that's really what's going on when you try to raise venture capital and using venture capital as a vehicle for bringing a technology to market, meaning you're going to bring it to market yourself, and then you're going to sell the company, or the company is going to sell product. One final thing you have to remember about venture capital. Here's Mr. Bear. That's why I did this over in this part of the house. Here's Mr. Bear. When you go to get venture capital, the market conditions in the capital, or what's going on in the capital markets, makes a big difference. It's a lot nicer to go out in a bull market than in a bear market. Right, Mr. Bear? Well, Mr. Bear's not saying anything. He's just stony silent. So I guess I'll see you next time. Bye.